Now, when I travel the country and speak at libraries and colleges and universities, people often approach me and argue that Stephen King has had a wider influence on all walks of mass media. I interviewed Stephen King for my own book, and he was very emphatic with his opinion on this matter. He said, and I quote, very simply, there is no Stephen King without Ray Bradbury. Perhaps most important of all is that Ray Bradbury, a Depression-era child raised in poverty, accomplished all of this without a college education. He is quick to say that because he had no money to pursue a degree in higher learning, he took refuge in public libraries 2, 3, 4 nights a week for the better part of a decade, reading books and learning. He regularly states that upon marrying his wife at the age of 27 in September 1947, he graduated from the public library. But today, Columbia College Chicago officially honors Ray Bradbury with an honorary doctorate, awarding him the degree he couldn't afford to pursue himself, adding to an already towering list of achievements. Mr. Bradbury, at the age of 89, wanted very, very much to come to Chicago today to accept this great honor in person. In fact, he had wholeheartedly agreed to do so until his daughter pulled the plug on the plane ride and said, "You're not going, Dad." With his ailing health and with a very, very heavy heart, he decided to remain home in Los Angeles, where we will go to him via video. He sends his deepest gratitude to President Carter, Chairman Turner, Provost Kapelke, and specifically Vice President of Student Affairs Mark Kelly for putting this all together. To the trustees, the administration, the faculty, most importantly the graduates, and all the family and friends here to support them. And so, to Ray Bradbury, for your outstanding contributions in the field of literature, Columbia College Chicago is honored to award you the degree Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, with all rights and privileges appertaining hereto. Congratulations.
Thank you, Sam. This is an incredible situation. I can't believe that I'm here to thank you. I came from a poor family. All of my early life, I could never go to college. I went to the library and went 3 or 4 days a week. For 10 years, I graduated from the library when I was 28 years old. But now, very late in time, you are inviting me into your life, which is quite amazing. If you're not careful, I may stay underfoot for the rest of your lives. What have I got to teach you? Well, on my tombstone, a few years from now, I want to read, he loved what he did what he loved. I want to teach you that. The important thing is to be in love. And what you have before you here is the world's greatest lover. Loving what? How can I teach you to be a duplicate of the world's greatest lover? So tonight, when you get in bed, look at the ceiling and say to yourself, what do I love? What can I do that I love for the rest of my life? And have a happy life every single day of their life. That's what I want to teach you. When I was very young, people told me not to fall in love with the motion picture of Lon Chaney. I fell in love with the Phantom of the Opera and many of the other Lon Chaney films. People told me not to fall in love with dinosaurs. I saw them in early films. People told me not to become a magician. But I came to Chicago once a year when I was a young man, when I was 7, 8 years old, to see Black Stone the Magician on the stage there. And I grew up, and I did it, didn't I? I became a magician. I can tell you, I can do anything. I can convince you that I'll do it. So, very late in life, I am a magician. When I was 9 years old, I fell in love with the stories of Edgar Allan Poe. People told me not to pay attention to Edgar Allan Poe, but I loved him so much that I wrote my early short stories for Weird Tales, set them up. So my first book is a book of Edgar Allan Poe stories, very much like him. When an issue of Edgar Allan Poe stamps came out a few weeks ago, I went out and bought 300 of them and put them on my envelopes. And underneath I said, "This is my father. This is my papa." So Edgar Allan Poe told me what to do. And along the way, people told me not to fall in love with all kinds of movies. So I've seen every movie ever made. And when I grew up, I began to be interested in doing films. My love of dinosaurs is quite obvious, and I wrote about dinosaurs in my various books, and I gave one of those books to John Huston, the great film director, and he read one of my dinosaur stories. He said, "My God, this has got to be the son of Herman Melville. I'll give him the job of writing the screenplay of Moby Dick." So you see, that's the way I got the job. By falling in love with dinosaurs when I was 6, it stayed with me all of my life and changed my life. I fell in love with theater along the way. I always wanted to be some sort of playwright. I went to live in Ireland when I was 33 years old. I fell in love with the Bernard Shaw plays. And Bernard Shaw told me how to write plays. And when I came home, I began to write plays about Ireland. So you see, it was love that was making me function all the time. With the theater, with movies, with the stage. As I was growing up, I had no money to go to the theater, so I became an usher in order to do what I loved. And I went to see 300 different ballets. I couldn't afford to go, but I became an usher, and I got to see them that way. I named one of my daughters Alexandra after Alexandra Danilova, one of the greatest ballerinas in the history of our country. So you see, love operates for me. I do things what I want. So, what you gotta do tonight when you're in bed, looking at the ceiling, saying it should have nothing to do with money, it should have to do with being in love with something. If people come to you and offer you money, it's identical with being in love with something. You can take the job, otherwise don't take it. Last week I had an offer from an internet company that wanted to put one of my novels on the internet. I couldn't believe it because I believe in books, I believe in publishing, I believe in libraries, I believe in literature all around. And I said to that internet company last week, "I have news for you, sir. Go to hell." Yes, money, that's not good enough. It's got to be completely love. I've had a lovely life full of the things that I've loved all of these years. And now, on this special day, you tell me that you love me, and I appreciate that. And I love you in return. And in recent months, the French government came to me and they brought me a medal and brought it to me and gave it to me at a special dinner. I'm now commander in the Order of Arts and Letters for all of France and all of Paris. And now I'm a commander. I command you to love life and love it forever and travel with me to the moon and back to Mars again and again, because your future is on the moon and on the Mars, and I'll go along with you. And I command you to do this. God bless you.